Okay, we'll call this November 11th, 2025 meeting of council to order at 4:33 p.m. This meeting will be held in a hybrid manner where members of council, staff, and the public can participate electronically. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded and will be available on the Township website. Notice is hereby provided that under the authority of the Municipal Act 2001 and in accordance with the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, that all information obtained is considered part of the public record. All rules apply to the meeting as if everyone has attended in person, and if there's a problem with the technology impacting the proceedings of the meeting may be recessed. So I would ask everyone to rise for the playing of the national anthem. We acknowledge that we are being hosted on the ancestral lands of the Haudenosaunee, Mississauga, and Omama people. We acknowledge and welcome the presence of all Indigenous people, including the Métis, Inuit, and other First Nations from across this vast land who also makes this place home. The lands we are on today are recognized in the Two-Row Wampum, Dish with One Spoon Treaty, Treaty 27, and the Crawford Purchase. Okay. So the first item up, council, is confirmation of the agenda. Do we have a motion? Deputy Mayor Townend.
Move to adopt the agenda of the November 11th, 2025 meeting of council.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Proderick. All in favor? Motion has passed. Any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof for the open session this evening? None. We have a recommendation to go into closed. Would someone make that motion? Councillor Proderick.
Thank you. I would move that council now move into closed session to consider personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, budget for staffing, advice subject to solicitor client privileges, including communications necessary for that purpose, and a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to negotiations, financial information related to the W.J. Henderson Recreation Center construction project pursuant to section 239 2B, F, and K of the Municipal Act.
So moved. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Townend. All in favor? Motion is passed. Okay, welcome everyone. We are going to reconvene open session. Just for the audience's sake, we did start our meeting at 4:30 this evening, this afternoon, and we've been in closed session since then. So we are now just reconvening the opening session. There will be a rise and report coming out of that. I just want to provide Councillor Budrick a moment to share his information.
Through you, one of the items in closed, I declared conflict of interest on, and the paperwork has been submitted.
Thank you. That's a part of the procedure that we have to do, even though it wasn't closed. So with that, our rise and report from closed session is that council provided direction to staff regarding personnel matters about an identifiable individual. And we provided direction as well regarding some contract negotiations. And it's going to be a long night because it seems that I'm tongue-tied tonight. I'm not speaking well. So with that, we do have an exception in our agenda. We're going to rise now. It is Remembrance Day. We want to show our respect to the current and past services that have made our freedom possible. So we'd like to stand, anyone who can, for 2 minutes of silence. Not back on. So 15 minutes of the meeting has been set aside for open forum. Any individual may address council regarding an item on the agenda, excluding matters under the Statutory Public Meeting section on the same agenda. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to speak can register in advance, which we have not had anyone to speak under this item. Or I will go into the audience and ask if anyone wishes to speak under this item. And you can come forward and do that. I will also go to the virtual audience, use the raised hand, ask them to use the raised hand feature so they can be brought into the meeting virtually. So I'll go in chambers first. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak this evening to council under open forum? Being none, I will go to the virtual audience. If there's anyone in the virtual audience that wishes to speak this evening under open forum, please use the raised hand feature and you can be brought into the meeting. Being none, we'll proceed. The next is delegation, Doug Deeks from CarbonFree Group to address council regarding battery energy storage systems project within the township. And I understand there are some of his coworkers that are here. Did you want to come forward during this? So if you just come forward up to the table here. And I believe Mr. Deeks is coming on virtually, is that correct? So the mics, if you can just press the I call it a purplish color, to light up then you'll be live. That way the virtual audience can hear you, and also it'll be recorded as well. So whenever you're ready, if you wish to just introduce yourself and go ahead and provide us with your information. Did it not light up? There's a button on the side. There you, okay.
I'll use my colleagues here. Oh, thank you. Good evening. Oh, it's good. Okay. All right. I'm double mic'd. Good evening, your worship, councillors, staff, and members of the public who may be joining with us in person or online. I'm Emma Coyle, VP Regulatory Legal, and more recently taking on partnership efforts at CarbonFree. And I'm here tonight with my colleagues who are allowed to introduce themselves, and also Doug Deeks online.
Your worship, councillors, my name is Megad. I am CarbonFree's head of engineering.
Good evening, your worship and councillors. My name is Louis Angel. I am a stakeholder relations coordinator at CarbonFree.
We've also got our colleague, Doug Deeks, who's our head of development. I'm not sure if Doug can hear us.
Mr. Mayor, I don't see Doug in the virtual audience. No.
We know that he was in transit today, so he may have been held up. Okay, so I'll provide a bit of an overview of CarbonFree, and I know we only have 10 minutes, and the purpose here is for us to introduce our BESS project to council, and we'll be coming back in December asking for a municipal support resolution with respect to this project. So CarbonFree is a Canadian privately held Ontario-based developer of renewable energy projects. We have a long history of partnering repeatedly with both traditional commercial counterparts and also our First Nations partners on various projects over the last decade plus. We've provided a deck in advance of this meeting. The plan is not to go over every slide in detail, but we are happy to come back to any slide if there are any questions. And I'll probably turn it over to my colleague Megad here to talk about our development experience in more detail.
So like my colleague Emma said, we are an Ontario-based, privately owned company. We were founded in 2006. I joined shortly after in 2013. I believe it's been 12 years now. And since then, we've developed a little over 130 clean energy projects in the Americas, about 66 or 65 of them in Ontario since 2011. And some of those are local and I think quite relevant. So I'll quickly go through a few of them. Most importantly, Kingston Solar is one of the projects that we've worked on, which some of you may be familiar with. It's a 100 megawatt solar project not far from here. We were partnered with Samsung to develop what was at the time the largest solar power plant in Canada, and remained the largest for quite a bit of time. We've also developed Southgate Solar, which is a 50 megawatt project in southwestern Ontario, which at the time was Canada's first agrivoltaics project. So it combined elements of farming, specifically grazing, along with solar generation. We've developed a portfolio of community solar projects down in Latin America, in Chile, as well as a BESS project down there that's under development. More recently and more locally, we've been working on what we call Brandon Road Solar Project, which is a 50 megawatt solar project here in Loyalist Township. We were also developing a 100 megawatt solar project nearby in Stony Mills, Tamworth Solar Project. And the project we're talking about, we've been studying the land for about a year with the help of our engineering service providers, Hatch, which is another sort of well-renowned Canadian company. And I guess I'll hand it back to Emma to talk a bit about this project.
Thanks, Megan. So the Millhaven Battery Energy Storage System, or BESS as we call it, and as you've likely seen it referred to elsewhere, this project is being designed for up to 250 megawatts of capacity and an 8-hour duration. And this is in accordance with the ISO eligibility requirements for the long-term 2 capacity services window 1 RFP. We are expecting the land impact and the project site to take up approximately 20 acres. It may be a little bit more depending on how our detailed planning advances. It will be fenced and screened, and we expect it to be accessible through an existing road, but that is all subject to final planning and design work to be undertaken. The land we are looking to host the site on is currently zoned for industrial. There is no agricultural component, and according to our, is it Photon that we've been working with, there is no potential for mixed use zoning as well either. As I'm sure other proponents have maybe mentioned to council, one of the most appealing and attractive both for a developer and for the ISO aspects of this area is its proximity to significant transmission capacity. So the province facing an energy and capacity need, sites near the Loyalist Township are extremely valuable and beneficial for the Ontario electricity system. This project is expected to be bid into the ISO auction. Bid dates are due on December 18th, and this is for capacity services with a bid award expected, I think, summer 2026. Now, with that, I'll hand it off to Lewis to talk a little bit about our community engagement.
So we've already begun our neighborhood canvassing. We will have a report to follow. We've engaged with Andrea Furness earlier this year during April. This was for our Loyalist solar project, and more recently we've engaged with Andrea for our BESS project here in Loyalist. Andrea has been a real treat to work with, I may add. We have planned our open house meeting, public meeting on November 24th, coming right up. We now have a project website live with information on the project and some project resources, a map to accompany it, and a chance to engage with the CarbonFree team with the Contact Us feature. We have been in contact with Mohawks of the Bay Quinte over the past month, trying to solidify a partnership with the nation for this particular BESS project. And we will eventually be coming back to council during your regular council meeting on December 9th to present again and request a municipal support resolution. Pass it back over to Emma. Thanks.
Thank you, Lewis. So I'm going to just move to the slide on municipal benefits and alignment with the township, which I believe is slide 13. So CarbonFree is working with staff and to take design with all input from staff a community benefits agreement. We fully expect that any design that we land on will be commensurate with other community benefit agreements that you've seen presented or have otherwise approved or support. The project will bring in local tax revenue, local contracting opportunities, And I suppose, and this touched on a little bit earlier, the project will bring tremendous benefit to the Ontario electricity system and the grid in general. So we think this project is a great project. Obviously, that's why we're here, and we're happy to answer any more questions about these details, either now or in December. Maybe moving to the next slide, key dates and next steps. So Lewis touched on some of this. We've begun neighborhood canvassing. We have a public meeting on November 24th. The First Nation partnership, we do have the support of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. We don't yet have the official resolution from them, but we fully expect for that to be finalized. On November 26th, there will be a staff report to council with respect to the project. And on December 9th, as you know, and we've already mentioned probably numerous times, we'll be coming back with a request for a municipal support resolution with respect to this project. The following dates are more relevant to activities that will occur if we win a contract award after being granted a support resolution.
I think I just wanted to add that in the interest of time, we skipped over some technology and impact slide, and we're just aware that you've heard pitches like this in the past, so we thought we'd focus on some of the other slides, but we're happy to answer questions on technology risks, safety or environmental impacts, or anything else in these slides or not in the slides.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions for the presenters? Councillor Broderick.
Through your worship, and thank you for the presentation. I guess one thing I've heard, as you sort of alluded to, we've had numerous groups come to us over the term of this council, is public engagement. And I just want to get an idea, what's your neighborhood canvassing? Is that simply a letter, an email? When I hear canvas, I think somebody's knocking on my door. Just how is that played out for your company?
The strategy we've taken in other municipalities is door knocking within a certain radius. So, for example, in a neighboring township of Napanee, that's what we've done. We've taken a 1 kilometer radius and we've done door knocking.
Yes, correct.
Thank you. And if I could
There's also more sort of direct response as well. Through the website, we've already received a comment or a query, and we've engaged with that party already, and have had a few phone calls, and we've been trying to arrange a longer discussion as well. So it might take a few different approaches in parallel.
Okay, that sort of answered my second question.
Any other questions for the presenters at this time? Seeing none, thank you for being here, for sharing the information, and starting down your journey. Thanks. Council, we do have a recommendation. Would someone like to present a motion? Councillor Broderick.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would recommend that the delegation of Doug Deeks from CarbonFree Group regarding a battery energy storage system project within the township be received.
So moved, seconded by Deputy Mayor Townend. Any comments? Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. Thank you. Next up is naming rights at WJ Henderson Community Center. Do you have anything additional to share?
No, I'm just excited to be here again at another council meeting to announce a sponsorship by a local company. We're very grateful for Latham Pools to be sponsoring the lap pool. So it'll be the Latham lap pool. We'd like to recommend that. And we're very excited that our organizations in our community are stepping up and being part of this wonderful community center that we're building.
Thank you. And yes, this is a routine that we'd like to keep rolling too. Council, we do have a recommendation before us. Would someone like to make it? Deputy Mayor Townend.
I move that the report from the Chief Administrative Officer dated November 11th, 2025, renaming rights at the WJ Henderson Community Center be received, and that council authorized the mayor and CAO to execute a gift agreement with naming rights with Latham Pool Products, ULC, Latham, for the naming of the lap pool at the WJ Henderson Community Center as detailed in this report.
So moved, seconded by Counselor Boudreaux. Any comments from the mover? Seconder, other members? Counselor Broderick.
I would just like to say, and I know we've had several meetings with Latham over and tour there that appreciate their commitment given the current economic downturn, I guess I would say, in many communities. And it's every little bit helps, and it's always nice to see the CAO with a smile on her face.
Thank you. Any other comments? Back to the mover for final. Call the question. All in favor? Motion has passed. 2026 water and sewer user rates. Welcome, gentlemen. Do you have anything additional to share this evening, or are you just here for answer?
Just to answer questions, I think the report's fairly straightforward, just approving the rates that were in the rate study for the upcoming year.
Perfect. Thank you. Council, would someone like to put the motion on the floor? Counselor Broderick.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move that the report from the Finance Department dated November 11th, 2025, read 2026 water and sewer rates be received, and that bylaw 2025-65, bylaw respecting the 2025 water and sewer user rates in Loyalist Township be enacted and passed, and bylaw 2024-96 be repealed.
So moved. Do we have a second? Counselor Willis. Any comments from the mover?
No, sir.
Seconder? Other members? Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. Thank you. Noise exemption request at 5115 Bath Road. Welcome. Did you have anything additional to share this evening, or? Okay. So council, we have the item before us. Counselor Willis.
Pardon me. I move that the report from the Clerk's Division dated November 11th, 2025, re noise exemption request at 5115 Bath Road be received, and two, the council deny the noise exemption request from noise prohibition under Activity 7 of Schedule 2 of the noise bylaw.
So moved. Do we have a seconder? Counselor Broderick. Any comments from the mover? Seconder? Other members of council? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion has passed. And we have before us the resolution regarding advocacy for funding to deal with the Emerald Ash Borer Infestation. Do we have this to share on the screen? With longer, just for the audience, with longer motions like this, we just scroll through them on the screen. That way someone doesn't have to read the whole thing when they're making a motion. Thank you. Council, how would you like to handle this? Councilor Broderick. Yes, please use your mic.
I would like to see that we add our own MPP to the list of people that received this item.
Good.
Thank you.
With that added, would someone like to make a motion? Councilor Broderick.
I would move the resolution as posted in the agenda,
So moved.
as amended in the agenda.
As amended. So moved, seconded by Deputy Mayor Townend. Any comments from the mover?
I would just put my Conservation Authority Chair hat on and say, again, many municipalities, conservation authorities strapped for cash, and I think it's time that the province maybe step up a bit more.
You, seconder? Other members? I think this is a good motion to support myself, especially with the fires that we had in the drought last year. Anytime that there's additional dead trees standing is always a hazard. And for workers around them as well. They could fall on a farmer. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. And I would entertain a motion to move into closed session. So moved, pardon me, Committee of the Whole. What did I say? You got the motion right. I just didn't have the title. Yes, moved by Councillor Budrick, seconded by Deputy Mayor Townend. Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. It will just be a minute.
All right, I'll call this Committee of the Whole meeting to order at 6:28. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Items for consideration for Committee of the Whole, Developer Front-End Funding and Reimbursement Policy. And I'll turn to Mr. McDonald.
Thank you very much, and through you, Mr. Chair. So the developer front-end funding and reimbursement policy is one of the initiatives that was identified within the Housing Accelerator funding grant that the township received through the CMHC. So this proposed policy in front of committee tonight would bring that to a piece to a close through that process. The policy that's been developed was worked with by the township staff and Henderson Consulting, who is a business consultant that the township uses when it comes to development charges studies or impost studies, and they have experience developing this type of policy for other municipalities. So the intent of the policy is to allow for a development credit agreement for private developers to then advance construction of projects that would be listed within the development charges background study or the impost fee background study in advance of the timing that's identified within those studies. So the intent is that they would pay for that work, and then through the development credit agreement, they would get reimbursed by the township at a later date. So this allows housing construction to move in advance of what was previously identified, matching the overall intent of the HAF funding. Yeah, that would be the quick summary, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. I'll turn to the committee for questions. What are committee's wishes? We do have a recommendation. Councillor Willis.
I move that the report from the Engineering and Environment Division dated November 11th, 2025, redeveloper front-end funding and reimbursement policy be received, and that the attached draft developer front-end funding and reimbursement policy be approved.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Broderick. Mover, any comment?
No comment, just glad we're moving forward with things.
Seconder?
Ditto.
Anyone else? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. And the next item up, local service policy. Back to you, Mr. McDonald.
Yeah, so thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. So the local servicing policy was an item that came up during development of the developer front end policy. And it is something that the township has practiced historically, but has not implemented a formal policy on. So previously, the local service definitions were always included in the background study. And through discussions, it was recommended that we bring this as a policy to committee for any feedback on that. The township is currently undertaking an in-post study as well as anticipate undertaking a development charges study next year. So this policy is timely for both of those. The policy that you see before the committee tonight was circulated to developers, and we did not receive any comments on it. It is unchanging of the historical practices that have been completed by the township. And so it's really just formalizing the process that's been followed historically. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Committee. Questions? Councilor Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is more of a comment. It's great to see that some of our historical practices become on paper, but then it eliminates any, different interpretation maybe of things that have happened in the past, and I'm pleased to see that.
Other comments? Seeing none, there is a recommendation. Mr. Mayor.
I move that the report from the Engineering and Environment Division dated November 11th, 2025, local service policy be received, and that the attached draft local service policy be approved.
So moved, seconded by Councilor Parks. Mover, any comment?
Just to reiterate, Councilor Broderick, it's good to have what is common practice put on paper so that it now becomes a policy.
Seconder? Anyone else? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. And we have a motion to adjourn committee of the whole. Councilor Willis, seconded by Councilor Broderick. All those in favor? Motion is carried. We're adjourned committee of the whole at 6:34.
Okay, back to our council meeting. Next up, are there any notices of motion this evening to be presented? Seeing none, are there any direct motions to be presented this evening? Seeing none, we have the consent agenda, which as usual has items lumped together according to our policy and that are routine. That we can deal with all together, or we can extract if someone wishes. Are there any items you wish to extract this evening? Councilor Broderick.
Could we just extract 15.2?
15.2. Okay. Is there any other item council wishes to extract? Being none, I would entertain a motion for all of the items except 15.2. Councilor Broderick.
Recommend that the items in the consent agenda dated November 11th, 2025 be approved and presented, and that the necessary action be taken.
So moved, seconded by Councilor Parks. Any comments from the mover? Seconder, other members? Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. And back to you, Councilor Broderick, for 15.2.
Yeah, I just, through your worship, I just wanted to thank the grant committee because when you look through, they've become more than a rubber stamp. They've taken the time to go through all the different resolutions. And as I look at them, there's a vast cross-section of different people. And not that I'm that bright, but the counselor to my left told me that people here are from the Maltby Center, so thank you for coming. And I've had experience with you in my educational background, but I do think we need to recognize the committee for their work, and the proof is here that they're not just a rubber stamp for every group that comes to the table.
Thank you. Would you like to make a motion on that item?
I would move that we, I can't find it. There it is. Sorry, I'm slow.
Just that we receive it and
That we received the report from the Community Grant Committee dated October 27th, 2025.
and that the necessary action be taken.
And that the necessary action be taken. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. So moved, seconded by Deputy Mayor Townend. Any comments from the mover, seconder, other members? Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. Okay. Sure. Next up, announcements. Are there any announcements this evening? Councillor Prodrick.
I wrote mine down this week, so we're good. This is on behalf of the Legion. Brian Bell, President, wanted to thank staff and council from the Legion membership for the commemorative Remembrance Walk in front of Fairfield Public School. They're very touched by the, I guess, the commitment the township showed, and they're just thrilled that the kids were able to come out. And in the same conversation, wanted to thank council for participating in today's service at 6:23, and the members of township staff, perhaps from next door, who were able to attend.
Thank you. Are there other announcements this evening? Seeing none, I would just like to, this is the first Remembrance Day service that I attended on Amherst Island, and I found it very impressive. I was mentioning to some of the council members that the entire service was completely run by the students, and everything that was read was written by the students. And so, and as I laid a wreath, I had my wreath laying buddy, who is a student, who had written a note and read that before the wreath was laid. So I thought it was really good to see the next generation so involved in a Remembrance Day ceremony, so that they grasp the concept at an early age of why we're doing it, the impacts of what disputes have and war has, and that it's just very encouraging seeing the next generation already that involved. And we did have a couple other services, one in Wilton. Councillor Willis attended that one, and I thank her for doing that. Historically, I attended that one a lot of times, but I wanted to go to Amherst Island this time. And I want to thank her for doing that, and Councillor Prodrick for doing the Bath Millhaven, the Millhaven Legion service as well, representing council. It's nice to have representation at all of the services, be able to lay a wreath and recognize all the sacrifices that have been made. And okay, so is there any other announcements this evening? Seeing none. Confirmatory bylaw. Deputy Mayor Townend.
I move that bylaw 2025-66 to confirm the proceedings of the Council of Loyalist Township be enacted and passed, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign and seal.
I remembered it this time.
There you go.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Parks. Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. And a motion to adjourn. Councillor Prodrick, seconded by Deputy Mayor Townend. Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed. We are adjourned at 6:41.